Most people live in one of three levels when it comes to earning a living: survival, comfort, or freedom. Now, this isn't just about how much money you have in the bank. It's deeper than that. It's about how you think. It's the philosophy behind your paycheck. Before a person can change their income, they have to change their awareness. They have to know exactly where they stand right now. Because if you don't know where you are, how can you chart where you're going? The first step toward real freedom isn't a raise, a new job, or a side hustle. It's understanding your current philosophy. And tonight, we're going to walk through all threefold levels, step by step, so you can see clearly where you are, and more importantly, where you're ready to go. Let's start with the first level, survival. This is where most people begin, and sadly, where far too many stay. Survival income means every single dollar you earn already has a job. It's spoken for before it even hits your account. Rent, food, gas, bills, lights, phone, you name it. The money comes in and it goes right back out. Payday feels like a brief sigh of relief, but by Wednesday, you're already counting down to the next one. You're not lazy, you're not failing. You're working the hardest you've ever worked, but you're working only for today. There's no energy left for tomorrow. You're on a treadmill, moving fast, sweating hard, but not going anywhere. Every week you start over. The finish line never gets closer. Have you ever noticed? When you live in survival, all your mental and emotional energy goes into just staying alive. You're not thinking about investments. You're not dreaming about growth. You're not planning how to help others. You're thinking, how do I keep the lights on? How do I put food on the table? How do I make it to Friday? There's no shame in being here. Every successful person you admire has passed through survival. It's a stage, not a life sentence. But here's what makes it dangerous when you start believing this is just how life is. That's when survival stops being a season and becomes a prison. People in survival often say, I just need a little more money. But here's the hard truth. If you gave someone in survival mode double their income tomorrow, without changing their habits, their mindset, their philosophy, that money would disappear just as fast. Why? Because the problem isn't the paycheck, it's the pattern. The survival mindset says, if I can just work harder, I'll finally be safe. But working harder without growing smarter just digs a deeper rut. You get stronger legs, but you're still running in the problem. Same circle. When I was young, I learned the secret to escaping survival isn't luck. It isn't even effort alone. It's awareness. You have to decide, I'm done just surviving. Something shifts inside you. Spirit rises. You stop asking, how can I get by? And you start asking, how can I get better? That one question opens doors no paycheck ever could. You start trading your hours not just for dollars, but for learning. You read, you study, you practice, you build skills that compound over time. Survival teaches you discipline. It teaches you gratitude for small wins. But don't build a house there. Don't get comfortable in discomfort. Use it. Learn from it. Then graduate. Because the next level is comfort. And it looks like success, but if you're not careful, it becomes another trap. Comfort is a beautiful place to visit. The bills are paid. There's a little margin in the account. You can go out to dinner without checking the price. First, maybe take a weekend trip. Buy something nice without guilt. You finally exhale and say, this isn't so bad. I've made it. And compared to survival, you absolutely have. You've earned the right to enjoy it. Take the vacation. Buy the better car. Celebrate. But here's the quiet danger. Comfort has a way of convincing you that progress is now optional. Comfort whispers, you've arrived. You can relax now. And if you listen too closely, you stop growing. You stop stretching. The hunger that pulled you out of survival starts to fade. You shift from building to protecting, from creating to maintaining. Before long, you're not surviving anymore, but you're not really living either. You're just comfortable. And comfort is expensive. It doesn't cost money. It costs your fire. It replaces ambition with habit. It trades adventure for assurance. You stop asking what's next and start saying, this is good enough. I've seen it happen so many times. Someone climbs out of debt, gets the steady job, the nice house, the reliable car. They breathe easy, then they stop. They think the goal was enough. But in life, nothing stays. Still, you're either growing or decaying, learning or forgetting. Comfort is a plateau, and if you camp there too long, it turns into a slow slope downward. So how do you rise from comfort to freedom? You reawaken the hunger. You remember why you comfort. That started. You ask bigger questions. How can I serve more people? How can I create more value? How can I multiply what's already working? Comfort must become a launching pad, not a destination. Celebrate it, enjoy it, but don't let it steal your vision. Because there's one more level above it, and once you taste it, you'll never want to go back. That level is freedom. Freedom is what most people dream about, but few actually design for. Freedom income means you no longer trade hours for dollars. Your skills, your systems, your investments, your ideas, they do the heavy lifting. You still work, yes, but it's by choice, not necessity. You wake up when you're done sleeping, not when the post-it alarm screams. You do work that matters, not just work that pays. You give because you want to, not because you have to. That's a different kind of peace. I used to think freedom was about having enough money to do whatever I wanted. But real freedom isn't escape. It's control. Control over your calendar, your choices, your attention, your purpose. You design life around intention, not pressure. That's what separates the rich from the truly free. Plenty of people have money. Very few have time. So how do you get there? 2 unbreakable laws. First, the law of value. The marketplace doesn't pay for your need. It pays for your value. It's always been that way. It always will be. You don't get paid for time. You get paid for the value you bring to that time. 2 people can work the same 8 hours. One earns $10 an hour. The other earns 100. Same hours, different value. One has refined skills, solved bigger problems, expanded knowledge. The other hasn't. The market is honest. It rewards solutions, not intentions. Want more income? Become more valuable. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Read, study, practice, grow. Every new skill is a seed. Plant enough, and one day you'll harvest freedom. Second, the principle of leverage. This is the greatest secret to freedom. Leverage is when your efforts start to multiply, when what you've built keeps working without your constant presence. Your hands can only reach so far, but your ideas can travel the world. A system can produce results while you sleep. A team can multiply your impact while you rest. A book, a course, a business, an investment. These are all forms of leverage. Most people never discover leverage because they never stop long enough to build it. They stay busy, but they never design. They think effort equals reward, but effort only creates opportunity. Leverage turns opportunity into freedom. Building leverage takes patience. It's easier to do everything yourself in the short term, but that keeps you trapped in survival thinking. Freedom requires you to move from worker to architect. You build structures that last, habits that repeat, relationships that grow. Every time you replace motion with multiplication, you get closer to freedom. Leverage isn't exploitation, it's empowerment. You serve people so well that everyone wins. Success that reproduces success. That's the highest form of wealth. Now let's talk about the real engine behind every rise. The philosophy shift survival says I have to. Reactive short-term coping. Comfort says I can stable safe. Preserving freedom says I choose to growth mastery. Designing your income is a direct reflection of your beliefs, not your circumstances. The same economy that keeps one person broke makes another rich. The same job that limits one person launches another. It's never the conditions, it's the conclusions. Wealth isn't built in the bank first, it's built in the mind. Grow your thinking and your world catches up. Shrink your thinking and your world shrinks with it. So how do you shift? Feed your mind, vision. Surround yourself with people who talk about possibility, not problems. Read, listen, study, until your old philosophy feels too small for the life you want. When survival thinkers see a problem, they complain. When comfort thinkers see a problem, they avoid it. When freedom thinkers see a problem, they solve it and get paid for it. That's the difference. Same world, different results. Finally, let's talk about what happens when you arrive. The responsibility of freedom. Freedom isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning of stewardship. Now, the question changes. Not how can I get more, but what will I do with what I have? Freedom gives you choices, but choices demand wisdom. Most people think the goal is to make enough money to never think about it again. But that's not freedom. That's fantasy. True freedom requires discipline. The same habits that built it must protect it. Learning, contribution, gratitude. Without these, freedom turns into foolishness. With every blessing comes a burden. When you gain time, you must decide how to spend it. When you gain money, you must manage it. When you gain influence, you must use it well. Freedom exposes character. A person who reaches freedom without wisdom soon loses it. You've seen it earn big waste. Survival. You can think about significance. You can mentor, teach, give, invest in others. The best use of freedom isn't luxury, it's legacy. Lift others as you climb. Stay grateful. Keep time. Growing. Keep learning. Freedom without purpose feels empty. Freedom with purpose. That's fulfillment. So tonight, don't take inventory of your bank account. Take inventory of your philosophy. What growth? Because what you believe shapes what you earn, and what you earn shapes what you can give. That's where the journey begins. From awareness to action. From surviving to living free. Let's go.